I have been actively in this limbo of transition for a few months now, and I have been passively thinking about it for a little over a year of what's next. But for the past few months, I have been actively thinking about what is next and trying to figure that out for myself. For those of you that are new here, my name's Liz. I'm an artist, and I recently just graduated grad school. And this is why I have been navigating the big what's next for me. So let's chat a little bit, and I'm going to draw and talk about how I'm navigating this transition period in my life. So I've been in grad school for the past 3 years, and 2 of those years I was able to teach, and I taught some printmaking courses, and I went to grad school with the idea that I would be building a body of work and kind of pushing myself and developing work in new and interesting ways, which I did. And then second, I wanted to get teaching experience, which I did, to continue to teach is like what my end goal was. I wanted to still work in universities and continue to teach students. But my drive to want to teach at a university level stems from 2 faculty that I had the pleasure of working with when I was an undergrad. They were just 2 of the most interesting and creative people I have ever met, and I think they're so incredibly talented and supportive and inspiring that I just was like, I want to be you when I grow up. They were the ones that helped me see that there's a place for me, and like even if you struggle and you're learning and you don't know where things are going, like that it's okay and that there's space for you, and just like helped push me and support me in ways that I didn't know I needed. They were just the people that believed in me, really. I think a lot of it was that too. They believed in me and supported me and pushed me in ways that were so influential for my career as a baby artist that I was like, I want to be like you, because of how much they inspired me and kind of changed my life, really, because I wouldn't have pursued art in the way that I did without knowing them and experiencing time with them. They're just like 2 really amazing women artists, and I'm just like, literally, if I'm anything like them, I would be like, wow, I made it in life, because of that's how influential they were to my career. And I'm like, I just want to be that for somebody also. But I just wanted to be like them and inspire and help students the way that they did. So they were like my framework almost for like, what did I want in life? After meeting them, I was like, I just want to be like them, really. So I went to grad school, and I have kind of created a way of working and understanding my work and things that I want to do a little bit deeper. And I also have 2 years teaching experience where I got the opportunity to be that person for people with the printmaking courses that I taught. And hopefully I was, I have gotten good feedback in my reviews, and I still keep in touch with handfuls of my students that I see around, and it is like so rewarding. So it's something I wanted to do. So I have been actively looking for positions to continue teaching, and have been applying to those since November, and I apply all the time for anything that comes my way that I think I'm fit for. But with that, and with applications for just like most things, comes rejection. And like rejection is like part of life. I know it's part of life, and sometimes and some days it just rolls off my back, and I'm like, fine, that didn't work out, and that's fine. But there are other times where, like, with an opportunity, I'm like, wow, I could really imagine my life there and imagine what possibilities that would lead to. And I get so excited that I'm like, oh my gosh, I work really hard on my application and I submit it. And sometimes a lot of the applications are just like crickets, just ghosts. I never hear back from them. And then sometimes they respond, and I've gotten a lot of no's, a lot of no's. And I know some people are like, think of it as not right now, and it's just like, you just didn't align with what they had, or, you know, the people looking at applications, and that's fine. But it's hard. Like, some days it is like overwhelming and it's hard, and some weeks it's like I got one too many no's that I get so discouraged that I'm like, well, guess I'll just give up. And it's like, I don't, obviously, because I'm still trying and I'm still keep moving, but like, it doesn't feel great all the time, you know? But like, I know, like, there was like other things that I applied for too that I got rejections for, like, not even just specifically for like teaching positions. I've gotten rejections from artist residencies that I really wanted to participate in, and it's like, that's fine. And some of them, I've gotten some of the nicest rejection emails I've ever gotten ever too, which was like so nice. Like, when they actually take time to like say, hey, you've made it so far, but unfortunately it was tough to make a decision for the people and apply next year. I got one of those, and that was like really, I was like, honestly, I'm not even sad I didn't get it, because the rejection email was so kind and so nice that I was like, you know what, do I even care that I didn't get it? Because they were like, you were top 5, and it was a really hard decision to make. Everyone had really strong applications, but you were one of the strongest too. And I would, you know, I encourage you to apply next year. And I was like, I'm going to apply next year, because that was so nice. And I'm sad, but I'm definitely not as sad as I could have been if it was just like generic, like, we went somewhere with someone else, which I think a lot of them have been. But at the end of the day, I've just been moving through and still just like figuring it out. And I think it's tough, because then I question everything all the time, and I'm like, well, what do I want? Where do I want to go? But I think a lot of it is like, the reason I'm stuck in a limbo is because I'm like looking for a job that hopefully will be in a place, in a city that I want to live, is my hope. But anyway, so I've been working on my art, and I have been applying, and I guess we'll talk a little bit about teaching applications and like what all you need for teaching applications, because it's like a little in depth. It's like more than just like cover letter and CV kind of thing. So for all of my applications, I guess for some part-time jobs I don't need it, but most applications you need your cover letter, of course, your CV with like your education, your shows that you've participated in, experiences, things like that. And then you also need to write a teaching philosophy, which is like your views on teaching and how you approach the classroom setting. That's about a page and a half of writing. 2 pages max, but still, mine's like a 1.5 pages. And then you have to write a creative research statement and artist statement, depending on what you're applying for. Sometimes they don't ask for any statement. But a creative research statement is like a little bit more in depth than an artist statement, which is like 300 words. And then you're going to need a portfolio of your work and also your students' work, and that ranges from like 10 to 20 images of your own work and then student work, and then 3 references. sometimes the references need to be contacted for letters of recommendation, so you need to reach out to them beforehand to let them know where you're applying and have your teaching materials. But like, it is a lot of information to gather and get together, and I've gotten really, really good at writing cover letters with all of the things I've applied to. But it's like I've rewritten and like wrote it a bunch of times, like to just try to make it better after I get so much rejection. And I'm just like, okay, how am I going to make this better? Or for jobs that I'm like super, super excited about, I'm like, I need to make this the best thing I've ever written ever. So that I spend time making it and adjusting it for each position that I'm applying for. But I have mostly just been trying to stay hopeful that things are going to work out for me the way they're supposed to, and what's for me will come for me, and just kind of have hope in that, and hope that I'm able to create the life that I want to live. And that's like my biggest thing of like how I'm dealing with this moment of transition, is to just kind of remind myself of that I'm capable of things, even though it's like new and challenging and sometimes intimidating and scary. But also it's just like, it'll work out the way it's supposed to, and the more you tend to things and water them and feed them, they're gonna grow, you know. So that is how I've just been navigating a lot of it. But like, a lot of it is just kind of like rejection and how to navigate that. But that is like, it has its own ups and downs, and it comes in waves, you know. But I've also just been trying to navigate my art practice and making things, and how I'm gonna continue to make and do that from now. I have been drawing from home, and I still can do some print stuff. My ceramic stuff is like a little bit more challenging, but there is a community studio space that I can buy passes for, like open studio passes for, and use. But I have to, like, for some large scale things, I have to kind of get scaled down, since it's like a community based ceramic studio instead of like, and it's it's on the smaller side, so it's like I can't just like have a bunch of things to fill up a whole kiln. So I've been trying to navigate how to continue making my kind of wall installation pieces, and figuring out how to do that. I think a lot of another bit of the transition is giving myself the time to make work. I think before it was like I had classes and I had the support of being in school, that I'm like, okay, your job is to make work. And that is like a really, really beautiful place to be, I'll tell you what. Because I was like, wow, I found a schedule that works for me, 8 to 5 every single day, sometimes like 8 to 8 in the studio. Perfect. Pack my lunch, pack a dinner sometimes, and that was it. And I loved being in the studio all day. But when you get into the real world and have constraints of just like life and life expenses, it's like, well, how are you going to navigate this and also have to work to sustain yourself until you don't have to sustain yourself from outside means anymore? So it's a lot of things I'm thinking about, a lot of things I'm dealing with and navigating, and it has been an interesting time and interesting ride to kind of deal with. But anyway, I am hopeful, and I'm hopeful things are going to work out, and we kind of go from there. Really, we just kind of do what we can and do what we can as best we can, and that's it. We just kind of have hope for life and life in the future.